All right, guys, today's lesson is all about creating more speed with less effort. That's really the trick, okay? We've all got friends out that play golf, make it look so easy. They hit it a mile. They don't look as if they're even swinging, right? How in the world are they doing that? And then the rest of you look like you're really swinging hard, using tons of effort, and the ball's not going anywhere. So what is the difference? Ultimately, they're creating more club head speed. There's more energy being transferred from the club head into the golf ball. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about how to create energy and speed without stressing your back, without stressing your hips, without having to get into some of these positions you see on the PGA Tour that literally make me cringe when they slow these swings down. I try and get into any of these positions. I've got some problems. I do not want to be swinging that way. So we need to figure out an alternative way to create club head speed. That's kind of where I'm at. I've got people watch my videos, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, even 80s that are emailing me and saying, Andrew, thank you so much for helping me understand how to create more speed. I didn't realize that the hands and arms play such an important role in creating speed. Guys, that's what delivers the message. Is the body important? Of course it's important. We've got to use the body. There's no question the body needs to support the arms. But don't think there's only one way of swinging a golf club. There is not. You've got to find what works best for you. So before we get started, if you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and press that subscribe button. There's a bell button next door. Click on that. You'll get a notification every time I release a new video. Welcome aboard, okay? First thing we're going to talk about is the grip. We've got to have your hands in a position where you can use them, guys, okay? Most of you have an open club face. 85% of golfers slice. They're hitting it weak and to the right. Long hitters struggle with the opposite, right? Long hitters struggle with hooks. And you see these coaches that are working on body dynamics, and all they're talking about is stabilizing the club face, right? If you're a weak slicer, turn that video off. It's not going to work for you. It doesn't mean it's wrong. These guys are excellent coaches, but ultimately, if you're not an elite golfer, you've got to learn to use your hands and arms first. We've got to create some speed and energy with the hands and arms. Then we can start to tie together the body and get everything moving more harmoniously. It's not going to happen by you tying your arms to your body back here and spinning your way to more speed. That is not going to help. Good players grip the club more in the fingers, okay? Less in the palm. They don't have the club in the lifeline of the left hand. That puts the club in a very weak position, doesn't allow me to hinge the club, doesn't allow me to rotate the club. I can't get the club face square is the problem. So it doesn't matter how hard I work, whether I'm scooping here or I'm trying to flip it, the harder I try with my body, and just the ball's still going way out to the right. Why don't you just change your grip? Okay, if you've not done this, go ahead and change your grip. Get your lead hand and feel like the back of your lead hand is pointing more up towards the sky. I'm looking at the back of my lead hand here. Okay, when you put it on the golf club, keep it up here on top. Okay, don't get it to the side of the golf club. Feel like your lead hand is more on top of the golf club. In the fingers, guys, not in the palm. Okay, so now when I look down, I've got 3 knuckles on my lead hand. I can look down at the golf club, face is square. I've got 1, 2, 3 knuckles on my lead hand. The V that's formed between thumb and forefinger at the trail shoulder, right hand. Let's do the opposite. Palm of the right hand, I'm looking down at the palm of my right hand. I don't have it to the side. I have it this way. I'm looking at the palm of my right hand. I'm going to place my right hand more underneath the handle, okay? I don't want it directly to the sky, obviously. That's going to be way, way too strong. But I definitely want to place the right hand across the base of the fingers, just like so, okay? I don't want it in the palm. Place it across the base of the fingers. Wrap my fingers around the golf club. Guess what? Trail V here between thumb and forefinger at the trail shoulder. I've got both my V's now set up this way. Now I can start to create some angular speed. I can release the toe of the golf club very, very easily. I don't have to work too hard. That's what we want. We want to make this easy. We want to swing effortless. We don't have to force the club face to square it up. Now I can just swing and it naturally squares up with no effort whatsoever. And most people aren't talking about grips enough, in my opinion. Weak grips are an absolute nightmare. Palm grips are a nightmare. If you don't start there, if you have a bad grip, all this other stuff is absolutely not going to make any difference whatsoever, okay? So once we get the hands in a good position, what we need to understand is the path, the direction you swing the golf club is going to be enormously important in terms of influence on ball flight. So if we get the club swinging miles over the top of it, we're going to have all sorts of problems controlling our ball flight. We want to have the golf club coming more from behind us into this slot position, which I know you've all heard of, where the arm's down here in front of you. We create some lag. We're in that beautiful position. We've stored a ton of energy here. You know, before we enter the spin phase, before we release the golf club, most of you are going ahead and transition spinning. You're opening your bodies way too early in the downswing. So we need to talk a little bit about what influences the path and shape of the golf swing. And I've got news for you. A lot of it is set up. The way you stand to the golf ball is going to have a strong influence on that. So there you go. Grip and alignment. Those are two really important things. When I set up to it, if I'm looking to hit a right to left shot, and I know a lot of you would love to hit it right to left, I need to get in a position here where we're aligned slightly to the right of our target. You're cheating in a sense because you're turning maybe 10 degrees into your backswing prior to taking the golf club back. So a lot of you that are struggling with mobility, align your hips, knees, and feet more to the right of your target, and take your right toe, guys, incredibly important, and flare your feet a little bit. You see my right toe is actually flared away from my target. What that's going to do here is going to mobilize my trail hip. That gets me a lot deeper. You see how easy it is for me to turn my hips. If I turn my toe in and then I get open where my feet are over here, my toes actually turned in, I've got no chance. I can't turn. I can't get behind the golf ball. I can't get deep enough. So of course I'm going to come down on a vertical orbit. I'm going to have more of a, what we call a tipping motion, okay? You see this right hip swaying. I know there are a bunch of you that have always struggled with a sway. If you turn your right toe out, if you flare it out, you're going to be able to mobilize that trail hip and start to get your hip moving back behind you towards your trail heel. That's where we want to be going. We're not moving laterally. What we want to do is we want to create some rotation here, because if we rotate, we can get deeper with the arms. Once we start to get deeper with the arms, guess where you're swinging? Out to the right. You've all heard trying to swing inside out. You ain't swinging inside out from over here. It's not happening, okay? Maybe if you're Jim Furyk, might be one of the few exceptions, but there's very few people from here that are able to reroute that golf club and get it underneath the plane. It's just not going to happen. And here's something really important. Get your trail elbow pointing towards your trail hip. That right shoulder, for most of you, is rotated internally, okay? So what you do is you set up with your right elbow over here, out. You see my left arm, way too much of my left arm. What type of plane do you think that's going to cause? Okay, I'm going to get steep from that position. I've got no place else I can swing. So take your right elbow, guys, when you set up to it, and point your right elbow towards your trail hip, and then turn your hand back towards the target. What we don't want to do is turn the hand this way and start to rotate your shoulder internally. That gets your right elbow pointing behind you. What we don't want is the elbow pointing behind. We want the right elbow pointing towards us, okay? If we can keep that elbow, relatively speaking, in the backswing, pointing towards the trail hip, we're going to get that golf club rotated. We're going to get that right elbow pointing down, and the club face will remain in a square to close position. I see so many golfers separating their elbows here, and that is a club face opener. If you get in this position here where your elbows are separating, your club face is going to be open all day long. So maybe we'll give you a little drill here. I want you to give this a shot, okay? Get your left hand in a good position. Again, left hand more on top of the golf club. Take your trail hand, all right? Just do this in your living room, all right? Take your trail hand, put it underneath the golf club, okay? It goes underneath the golf club. Take the back of your trail hand and put it onto your left hand, okay? That's going to naturally rotate your shoulder and arm externally. You can't get there this way. It's impossible, okay? We're going to go ahead and get in this position, and we're going to make a little swing with our left hand. Now, what I want you to do here is I want you to feel what that does to the position of the right arm. You're going to feel a very unusual position back here. You're going to feel your right shoulder rotating externally. You're going to feel your right elbow pointing down. Why is it important to have your right elbow down? If your right elbow is pointing down, your golf club is coming more from the inside. If your right elbow is pointing up, your golf club, can you see what it does? turns it into a lightning rod. Your golf club's coming too much from the outside. So we don't want to get the right elbow pointing up. We want it pointing down. That's how we get the club into the slot, okay? So when I go to the top of the backswing, I'm going to do this drill. Right hand, flip it underneath the handle. And make some swings back here. It's like, whoa, well, that definitely feels very, very different. Not felt my right arm in that position before, right? All of a sudden, I keep facing you and I start to do some swing. And my right elbow feels like it's in a very, very different position here, okay? I've got my elbow leading a little bit more. I don't have this way. I don't have my hand leading. I've got my elbow leading a little bit more. And that's what we call linear momentum. We start to get the arms working down, right? That's the initial part of the transition. Your upper body remains facing back. What we don't want to do here, guys, look at this for a minute, is spin the body and I have the arms moving this way. Okay, you see my right elbow is pointing up. All right, so what I'm looking to do here is I'm looking to keep my upper body back, get my right elbow dropping into the slot, okay, which is to the side of me here. There, we can do some serious damage once we start to release the golf club. So grip, posture, flare the right foot, align to the right. These are small things, guys, are going to add up, okay? All right, guys, so we're going to hit some golf balls, focusing on exactly what that right elbow is doing. Really important to get it in the slot, not to overthink. This lesson is all about your setup, your grip, your alignment, flaring the toe, getting you in a position to allow the club to swing for you rather than against you. But we got to hit some golf balls. You can see I've got a noodle set up here at an angle. You can just put an alignment rod in the ground. You can use a head cover, put it slightly outside the golf ball. I've got a piece of wood I use here. It's just a little bar I set up right outside the golf ball that's going to dissuade me from coming over the top of it. I just need some feedback, guys. If I'm transition spinning, I'm going to hit these things. Swing slow motion to start with. We're really just focusing, again, on your setup and making sure that right elbow is always orientated towards my right hip at the top of the backswing, checking the club face, make sure that I'm not getting it wide open, and then hit some, okay? Don't overthink all this other stuff. Just focus on one or two areas and let the ball kind of get in the way. I'm going to go ahead and go through my little checklist here. Make sure my grip's good, flare the right foot. Right elbow is pointing towards me. I'm always pointing that right elbow, guys, towards my trail hip. Top of the backswing as I approach impact. Look at the right elbow. It's pointing towards the trail hip. I'm keeping my back to the target as long as I can. As long as I can. I'm going to go ahead and hit a couple. Let's see if we can hit a couple draws in here. So I go to the top of the backswing. Right elbow down. Rotate through. Hopefully the ball starts a little right. Maybe turns back to the left here. There we go. So we got our little powder draw. It's working for us, guys. No more slices, okay? Just swinging totally easy, nice and smooth. I'm not over swinging. Going to go ahead and make sure I'm in the right positions at this point. Go to the top of the backswing one more time. Look at that right elbow, guys. I'm not separating my elbows. I'm not getting vertical. Keeping my back to the target. And then for me, the only feel I have on the way through, just to keep things real simple, I feel like my arms, guys, are pulling my body through the golf shot. What I don't want to be doing is dragging that handle. For you slicers, there's nothing worse than dragging the handle through the golf shot. Allow the golf club to release freely. Allow your arms to swing freely. Allow the golf club to pull you through as opposed to the other way around. A lot of you are just so caught up in this body-centric stuff. Very good for elite golfers that already know how to articulate the wrist and swing the arms. Not so good for you slicers. So we're going to do it one more time. Just going to speed my arms up a little bit more. Same thing, guys, okay? Right elbow down. Look at the elbow. Down. Back to the target. Look at that slot right there. Notice the club face is not open. Okay? It's pointing towards the golf ball. It's not pointing up towards the sky. I'm going to go ahead and do that one more time. But this time, just speed my arms up. I flare my right toe. I'm going to go ahead and just speed the arms up, create a little bit more speed. Same thing, right elbow down. A little bit more club head speed. I'm in balance. I'm not over swinging. My arms are dropping down into the slot. Now all of a sudden I've got some speed there. You can see 173 carry. Much, much more club head speed. Absolutely no effort whatsoever. A lot of that, guys. Oh my goodness. Grip, grip, grip. Can't tell you how important it is. Right elbow staying down as I approach impact, dropping the club into the slot because my upper body isn't spinning. Don't spin. Feel your arms drop. Feel the club release. Allow your body to respond dynamically to the swinging motion of your arms. Don't overthink this one. Keep it simple. Go through the steps I discussed today. Work on swinging within yourself initially. You're going to find you're going to want to turn your body very aggressively back to the golf ball. Try and delay that spin phase if you can, focusing on the position of your right arm, really dropping that club down into the slot. Hopefully that helps. Get to work, have fun, have a great weekend, and we'll catch you next time.